Thank you for this opportunity to talk about CBP's non-intrusive inspection systems. My statement is based on GAO's report on the topic issued in September 2025. CBP has received more than $2 billion to deploy non-intrusive inspection systems at land ports of entry. These systems generally use X-rays to scan vehicles. Officers review the images from these scans to identify anomalies and indicate the presence of contraband. In 2021, the Securing America's Ports Act directed CBP to develop a plan to scan 100% of commercial and passenger vehicles and rail containers by 2027 using these systems. CBP has made progress in deploying systems in pre-primary inspection areas. For example, CBP determined it needed a total of 434 systems and procured 153 systems for these areas. 52 were operational at the time of our review. CBP's deployment of these systems has increased its rate of scanning passenger and commercial vehicles at the southwest border. Specifically, scanning rates for passenger vehicles have increased from 2% in 2020 to 8% in 2024 for passenger vehicles. For commercial vehicles, scanning increased from 16% to 27% during this time. However, 3 issues have prevented CBP from meeting the requirement to scan 100% of commercial and passenger vehicles and rail containers by 2027. The first issue is planning. CBP's scanning plan does not include all land ports of entry. Specifically, the plan does not include 9 southwest border crossings. These 9 crossings together account for 40% of passenger vehicle crossings at the southwest border and include 3 of the biggest border crossings, San Ysidro, Otay Mesa, and Nogales. CBP officials said these sites are not included in the current plans because they are still determining how to overcome space issues at these sites. In our September 2025 report, we recommended that CBP determine how to include systems at all border crossings in its deployment plans. CBP agreed with our recommendation and plans to implement it by the end of fiscal year 2028. The second issue that has prevented CBP from meeting the scanning requirement is cost. CBP developed cost estimates for deploying systems, but costs have exceeded those estimates. These cost increases are due to a variety of factors, such as not accounting for all deployment costs in the original estimates and unique construction challenges at each site. CBP officials said they have received the funding they needed to deploy the systems they have procured to date. However, CBP will need additional funding to meet the 100% scanning requirement because CBP needs to procure additional systems to achieve its current plans, and the estimate does not include systems at the 9 border crossings that are not included in CBP's plans. The third issue that has prevented CBP from meeting the scanning requirement is the schedule. Deployment of non-intrusive inspection systems has taken longer than expected. At the time of our review, CBP planned to complete deployment of the systems it had procured for passenger and commercial vehicles by the end of 2026 and for rail containers by the end of 2029. However, it will take longer to achieve the 100% scanning requirement because the schedule does not include the systems CBP has not yet procured or the systems needed for the 9 biggest crossings that are not included in CBP's plan. CBP officials told us that various factors have caused schedule delays. For example, major upgrades were needed at some sites, vendors have been slow to resolve deployment issues, and site conditions, such as interference with scanning systems, have required additional time to resolve. During our review, CBP officials told us they were aware of these issues and were working to resolve them. It will be important for CBP to continue to address these issues as it deploys and operates additional systems. Moving forward, GAO will monitor CBP's implementation of the recommendations we made in our September 2025 report. We believe that addressing our recommendations would strengthen CBP's management of its non-intrusive inspection systems and its interdiction efforts to help achieve its mission. This concludes my statement. I'm happy to answer any questions.